Nolan, very good to see you. We are talking about the retirement red zone. We have 5 moves that you should be making now ahead of that retirement red zone, which is generally the 3 to 7 years before you retire. It's a critical time when investment decisions and market fluctuations can have a significant impact on the rest of your financial security. So the first step is to define your budget and expenses, but only 40% of people have ever calculated what they'll need to live on in retirement.
And I'm actually surprised that that number is as low as it is,
Really?
the 40% of people. Like a lot of people that I speak with, they just they just, I don't know, there's an assumption that things are just going to be the same, or maybe an assumption things will be less expensive, or
Yeah,
there are a lot of just assumptions.
right.
And this is first step. You have to figure out what your budget is, figure out what your ins and outs are for monetary purposes each month once you're retired, because this is going to be your base that you're going to build off of each year. Every year, that income need is going to get a little bit higher. So identifying that budget is the first and foremost important thing that you can do.
hmm And then you just touched on number two. You need to define those sources of guaranteed income.
And for most people, these sources of guaranteed income is going to end up being Social Security and Social
hmm
Security only at this point. There's still a chunk of a minority who get pensions and things like that that maybe they were eligible for through previous employers or current employers, but that number's dwindling. And then other sources of guaranteed income might be from like annuities or things with other guaranteed income streams associated with them. Those guaranteed income sources are the first thing that goes towards your income pool that goes against those expenses that we identified in step one.
Right. And one and two go hand in hand. When you know what's going out and then you know what's coming in, whatever the discrepancy between the two is, it's known as your income gap, your retirement gap. And then you build a plan to cover that discrepancy.
Yeah, and that income gap, I think it's most prudent to identify that on an annual basis and then
Yeah.
try and work on a year over year basis with your portfolio design. It's really tough to identify an income gap on like a monthly or quarterly basis because it changes just a little bit too much. You just try and identify your annual income gap and then identify what portion of your portfolio is going to be responsible for filling that gap. You then
Mhm.
need to fill that gap for as long as possible because you have no idea how long you're going to live.
Mhm. And now to swing back to the guaranteed income, and you mentioned it already, Social Security, such an important decision to make on when you claim. And I know, Nolan, that you specialize in helping people figure out the most financially optimal time to claim Social Security.
Thanks. And that Social Security is a huge one because you could take a huge cut if you draw it too early or get a huge benefit if you defer for long enough. There's no one size fits all solution. You'll never hear me say, I guarantee it's the best idea ever to wait until 70 to claim Social Security, because you could certainly pass away at age 71 and then you barely got any income from the
Mhm.
program.
Mhm.
Whereas if you drew at 62 and pass at 71, you beat the system basically. So there's no way to know when you're going to pass. There's no way to know when the best time to draw Social Security is, but we strategize on it. That
Mhm.
includes identifying potential penalties, identifying potential tax implications, and then trying to figure out how Social Security is going to work alongside your other assets in your income plan.
Mhm. And again, because these are all interrelated, you just touched on it again. You need to consider taxes, which will be one of your biggest expenses in retirement. But the good news is you can take action now to lessen your taxes in retirement.
Yeah, the proactive approach when you're trying to consider taxes, and a lot of times this is while you're working, is strategizing where your money's going into all of these different tax buckets. A lot of times people are starting to move their 401k and IRA contributions into Roth if it's available.
Mhm.
And I'm even suggesting a lot of pre-retirees start investing their money into brokerage accounts, which are
Mm.
these after tax or taxable accounts, because you don't know when you're going to need the money. You don't know if you want it locked up or in any type of investment for too long. So brokerage accounts become extremely flexible during times like that. So
Mhm.
just making sure there's a balance, being proactive, considering taxes with Social Security and all of your other income sources. It's all just part of income planning. So it's
Mhm.
it's the planning process, and it's what we specialize in.
And especially in that red zone when every decision you make is really important. So, Nolan, if somebody wants to make sure they're on track for retirement or even again in those first few years of retirement, what's the best way to reach you with questions?
So they can call us at 616-301-2581 or go to cornerstone-rp.com, and we have a contact us box at the bottom of the page.
Great. Nolan, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.